Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday podcast. My name is Ann Sontag. I am a presidential director with LifeWave, and I'm here today with Dr. Stan and Jody, also senior presidential directors. How are y'all guys doing?
Everybody's good. Excited.
Good. Okay, David, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and read our disclaimer.
Sure, thank you. All LifeWave products are not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, or prevent any disease. If you are pregnant, nursing, on medications, or have any medical conditions, please consult with your physician first. All patching podcasts are for educational and informational purposes only. And now back to our beautiful host, Ann. Thank you.
Thank you, David. So today, I'm excited for everyone to meet my husband and hear his testimony. So even though he's been on the patches for almost 2.5 years now, he's never given his testimony before. He started out kind of skeptical and now is a definite believer. So Ron, can you go ahead and unmute and say hi to everybody? Tell us your story, what was going on with you before and then after patching.
Yes, I will. Give me just 1 second here. Well, before patching, I've always been an athletic person. I've run a lot. I used to run 5 miles a day, 5 days a week, work out every day. Over the years, I think it's taken a toll on my body. I started getting some back pains. My lower back started bothering me. I've had 2 knee surgeries on my right knee for a torn meniscus. And it got to the point in the last few years to where I was really wanting to get another one because it bothered me so much. It actually got to the point to where I couldn't even do yard work. I'd go out and rake leaves or mow the yard and do work in the garden. And for 2 days after that, I would be hurting. I couldn't bend over and tie my shoes. I actually told Ann that, there's got to be something wrong because I'm still too young to feel like this. So I was really getting into a bad place, but I was in pain pretty much continuously. So from there, we 2.5 years ago, we had a pet that got really sick, and my father-in-law took him to the vet, and the vet says, "Well, this dog is dying. The organs are shutting down. We need to go and put the dog down." My father-in-law said, "No, we're not going to do that." So he brought the dog back, and about that same time, someone had introduced us to these patches, and they said, "Why don't you try some of these patches on the dog and see how it helps?" Well, after 5 days of patching that dog, seeing that dog turn around and being totally opposite. Before, the dog wasn't eating, it wasn't going to the bathroom, it just laid under his bed. After that, the dog went back to normal. His cognizance came back. He was doing the things he did before he got sick, and that took 5 days on this patch. So really from that, I thought, if I could do that for a dog, I'm going to try that for sure. And another thing is, we worked out. I used to be able to work out on an elliptical, and I could only do the elliptical for 15 minutes, and I'd get tired, and I couldn't do it too much more than that. And after we started these patches, I really didn't notice anything for probably 3 weeks. But then suddenly, I noticed I started staying longer on the elliptical. I would stay on there for 30 minutes. I even went up to an hour on the elliptical, and I wasn't winded. I felt good afterwards. And then I started noticing that, well, my lower back really wasn't hurting anymore. I'd go work in the yard. I'd mow the yard. I'd work in the garden. I'd come back in. I'd do a workout upstairs. And my lower back just never has bothered me like that. It's never been like that again since I've been on these patches.
That is awesome. Okay, Ron, I want you to get to we actually had to put the patches to the test, and this was something that happened July 4th. So tell them about that story.
Well, we went up to a lake up in Oklahoma, and we went kayaking one day during the week of the 4th of July. And I had fallen off my boat, the kayak, in some rough waters, and I was holding on against the rushing current, trying to hold on to the kayak. And I didn't really notice it. I got back on, and we went down and got to the more calm water after the rapids we hit. and it was a sunny day. So I took my shirt off, and it was like probably 6 or 7 of us that went. And when I took my shirt off, I kind of stretched, and my son-in-law said, "Dude, what happened to your arm?" Because when I stretched, I had a big ball on my arm. It was and he goes, "Did you tear your bicep?" And I said, "I don't know. I guess so." Because does it hurt? And I said, "Well, not really. I didn't feel anything." Well, from there, we had to kayak 2 hours down the river to even get back to where we had started from. And so when we got back to the cabin, his mother is a physical therapist. I believe she's a physical therapist. And she was saying, "Well, don't you feel any pain from that?" And I said, "No." So she wanted me to put it in a sling and trying to baby me and everything. And then we started putting patches on it then as well. Well, when we got back, probably a week or 2 later, I went to the actual orthopedic surgeon here in Houston, and he gave me the option of doing surgery or not. We just elected to do the surgery. And when I went in for the surgery, when I got out that day, they gave me a prescription for painkillers. And of course, I got a nerve block when they did the surgery. I felt my whole arm was numb. And they said, "Well, you want to fill this prescription because when this nerve block wears off, you're going to want to be taking this prescription." Well, that night I went to bed, woke up the next day. We had the prescription there, but the next day I actually worked from home. I work in IT, so I work on computers. So I worked that next day at the table. I never felt any pain. For the next 3 days, I worked from home. I went back to work 4 days later. And my first visit back to the doctor was probably 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks after the surgery. And he was basically amazed that I wasn't feeling any pain. I never took any painkillers. I never took an aspirin. I never took anything for it. And I never felt pain. So I think one of the big things is we started patching this even through the surgery. After the surgery, we patched my arm all around that area. And I never experienced any pain from it. And the doctor was amazed. He actually released me. I was supposed to go to physical therapy after, I believe, 6 weeks. And in my 6 week visit with him, he pretty much released me. He said, "I've never seen a patient heal that fast." He goes, I operated on someone the same day I operated on you, and they still can't even move their arm. They have pain when they move their arm. And the surgery wasn't really light. They had to drill a hole through my bone and fish the bicep through there and anchor it to the back. So just the idea of drilling a hole through your bone seems painful in your mind, but it was amazing because I never felt any pain. And I put that all from wearing the patches over the last 2.5 years. But one of the key things is it did take me a little bit of time to really feel the difference, because some of the things I get are subtle. They just come up and just think, "Wow, I haven't felt pain since I started doing this." So it was amazing.
And honestly, I don't think if I wasn't living with him, I don't know if I would believe it, because as a nurse, you have to keep your patient above the pain, and you have to make sure that they're on the pain. So I kept saying, "Do you have pain? What's your pain level? How do you feel?" I mean, it's like I couldn't hardly believe that he didn't have pain after drilling a hole in his bone. But I think there's 2 things that's important that I want to point out. Number one is he didn't feel anything right away when using the patches. And because some people feel something right away, some people don't, but he didn't. But the second one is, he had been patching and removing the inflammation for over 2 years in his body when this injury happened and when he needed the surgery. So, we're not making any claims here, but it's pretty amazing that he didn't have any pain during the initial bicep tear. Okay. And secondly, the 2 weeks later after he had surgery, he didn't have any pain. But what I did is we put 2 eons on him, just, around his incision. He had a big bandage here. So I put 2 eons, had a carnosine, X39, X49, is everything right around that one place. And it was amazing. One time I asked him, said, "How's your pain?" "Well, I can kind of feel it." So I put 1 set of ice wave on him. Other than that, I wouldn't believe that he had surgery and didn't have to have even a Tylenol. So Ron, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just made me a believer in the product, and I'll never not take them. I'll never not wear them.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Jody, back to you.
Oh man, I love it, Ron. And I want to say before I bring my guest on, I have a brand partner in Tennessee, and then she has a customer, and both of them last fall had surgery. She had reconstructive surgery on female parts, bladder, that kind of stuff. And her doctor told her the same thing. He's like, here's your prescription, stay ahead of the pain. But she doesn't do well with pain meds. So she used Ice Wave and the patches you're talking about, and never had any pain. And her doctor couldn't believe 2 weeks later how she had healed and that she had had no pain. And so she suggested the same thing to one of her customers who was having hemorrhoid surgery. And you know how excruciatingly painful that is to heal from. And her friend, they actually used 2 sets of Ice Wave, both of them, like in the underwear, you know, around their parts where they needed the pain relief. And her friend never had pain from hemorrhoid surgery. Is that not crazy? This is just the most wonderful technology. Okay, well, I want to bring on my guest, Jeff and Cindy Bennett. We're mostly talking about Cindy's story today. But Cindy, you know, tell us where you live, and just tell us what was going on before you found the patches a couple months ago.
Okay. I live in Seven Lakes, North Carolina, which is very close to Pinehurst, North Carolina. And I'm 65 years old. 24 years ago, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Then 8 years ago, I started feeling some twinges in my back. Well, go to the doctor, and I've been diagnosed with degenerative spinal disease, stenosis, and scoliosis. And they wanted to fillet me, like from the top of my back to the base, and fuse all these things and do all the stuff. And I wasn't going to do it. And so I was getting along okay, not great, but okay, with some heavy duty pain medication. But the biggest thing was my knee. My left knee felt like somebody was taking a double-sided knife and jabbing me in the side of my knee every time I moved. The covers on the bed were too heavy to touch it. I had to leave that leg out so a sheet would lay on it. It was that sensitive. And finally got an MRI on the knee. It comes back unremarkable. Well, I've got some remarkable pain. Jeff and his sister came home one night, and they were talking about these patches.
Let me stop you for just a second. I'll give him a little background. She's had some issues with being stable because of that knee and her back. And so the injection she was taking, Enbrel, was basically, it worked, but then it was not quite working very much anymore. So because she was so unstable, she fell and broke or dislocated her shoulder. She went into surgery, had that replaced, fell again, had to have a reverse done on that shoulder. Then they're telling her because of the knee issue, she has to have a hip replacement.
And that was going to take away the pain in my knee.
Correct. So she went and got the hip replacement, and I had already ordered in, and I learned it from a well-known podcaster, and I decided to give it a shot. So I ordered these things in after speaking to Cindy. She basically ordered it to shut me up because she didn't believe anything out there is going to help her because it's been so darn long.
Well, let me stop you for a second. She was using a walker, right? Or
A walker,
wheelchair, walker, cane.
and I got her a motorized buggy.
For how long?
Oh, geez.
A long time.
5 or 6 years?
Oh, at least. Oh, more than that.
Yes.
More than that.
And you couldn't drive a car?
No.
I took myself off the road about 3 years ago because I knew it wasn't safe.
Right.
But once he got these patches and he started putting them on my knee, about the third day, I woke up I didn't even think about it.
This is ice wave that we're speaking of on that one.
Okay.
I didn't even think about getting up. And before I would lay there and dread having to get up and
Mhm.
walk. And then all of a sudden, I'm not having these unremarkable pains. It was terrible. It kept me on the couch. It kept me from driving.
It did.
And I wouldn't want to live without these things at all. We're also putting them on my back, and they have done a great job. I'm still taking the pain medication for my back because the MRI looks like one of those Jenga puzzles. It's going every which way. But between the patches and then the knee, I can drive.
Yeah.
I can do anything I want to do,
Yeah.
and I don't have pain. I mean, the barometric pressure messes with people with arthritis.
All right.
We had a front come through. Everything on my body hurt except that knee. Only thing that didn't hurt was that left knee. And I told Jeff, I said, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it works like this. And I would not want to live without them.
So
They
are
have
you,
given me back what I had lost.
oh, that's awesome. So are you still using your walker, wheelchair, anything?
Nothing.
No.
I don't have any trouble getting in and out of the car. I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Getting in and out of the car was a struggle. I didn't even think about it. I just get in, get out, do whatever I want to do. I can go to the store, which I had not gone to a store in years. And I went to the store, didn't even think about it.
Wow.
And
So I heard that you drove to the doctor's office, maybe?
yeah, I did.
Oh, yes. Tell me.
What did your doctor say?
I went to the pain doctor, my pain specialist. And I went in there, and before I had asked him about these, what do you think of the stem cell? He said, well, it's the future, but it's not here yet. Well, I started the patches, and he knew what the problem with my knee was. And he said, I still want to look at that MRI. But I told him, I said, I've been using these stem cell stimulators. My knee does not hurt at all. He says, and you're walking straight, because before I was walking bent over because of the back pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking straight. I gave the pain doctor the information on this. He's going to try it on himself.
That's awesome.
Yes. But this has given me back most everything I had lost. I can drive, I can walk, I can go to the store. I can do most anything I think of wanting to do. And it's great.
And what's so exciting, Cindy, is that you've only been doing it a couple months, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I will tell you, if you do have any setbacks, there is such a thing called retracing. And sometimes when your body's healing and going in deeper, you might hurt again for a few days, but you just push through it, keep patching. And when it goes away again, you'll be even better. I had that happen a couple times with my hands. But we're about out of time, but tell us anything else you want to add, either one of you.
I am the type of person that won't even take a Tylenol. I decided to do the 39, the patch. And honestly speaking, I noticed my level of energy is well increased. My eyesight is cleaner. I'm 61. It just seems everything is working fine for me. I mean, people that work for me are trying it. In fact, my sister Sue is working on it because she had some conditions she had to work with. We had a customer come in yesterday.
Yeah,
it was yesterday. Came into the shop, and they were looking at buying a part or whatever. And the lady was almost 80 years old, and she said, she started talking about 39, and Sue turned around and said, X39? And the lady says, yes. she's got a whole group of people across the street that are using this stuff too. I'll tell you what, flat out, anybody that's listening, if it did not work, I would not be sitting here.
No.
I would never say something that's not truthful. I promise you. Because it's hard to make me believe, and it's really hard to make her believe.
I tried it so he would shut up.
She did.
I did. I said, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And like I say, after about 3 days, I went, whoa.
This stuff is amazing, and
It works.
it works. So guess what? I got my life back because I'm not cooking, cleaning, and doing all that stuff, which I always do and did because I love her. But now that she's doing that, she can actually be more independent and do her own thing, which makes me even happier. And she's smiling instead of groaning.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, you guys, thank you so much for sharing today. What
No problem.
Thank you
heartfelt
for having us.
story. Thank you so much. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to my husband, Dr. Stan, to talk a little bit about how the company got started and the science and technology.
Wow, what great testimonies. Great to hear what these patches are doing in people's lives. I mean, it's literally life-changing technology, that is for sure. And our company got started almost 20 years ago. 2024 is our 20th anniversary with this company. It started with our founder and inventor, David Schmidt, who comes from a line of inventors. He has designed motors and all kinds of commercial and even military motors, batteries, and different things, in that area. But he also had a biological degree, and he was interested in health and wellness, always intrigued with how to help people and himself to live longer, healthier lives. And when he was working with the Navy SEALs, they were looking for some type of technology that could help the Navy SEALs to stay awake and alert without having to use drugs and caffeine or herbs and things like that. And he had been developing a technology that we call photobiomodulation, phototherapy, which is an ancient practice. It goes back 5,000 years in written history of how people have used infrared light to stimulate and help the body to heal naturally. And so he had been studying this, and he had developed a patching system that would naturally stimulate the mitochondrial ATP energy function in the body. And so the Navy SEALs were our very first customers, so to speak, with this technology. But 20 years later and many patches later, we know that we came to our flagship product, the X39, and that is our cellular activation patch. And all the patches pretty much work the same with the phototherapy. The patches are made of simple organic substances that form a crystal lattice on the patch. The Band-Aid is really what it could be called, because that's really what it looks like, feels like, sticks like, is a Band-Aid. And you just simply put this patch on the body, and this crystal lattice will reflect your own natural far infrared light, heat, energy back into your body to trigger certain biological functions in the body, depending on the patch that you are using, which is pretty awesome. And you just simply, you put it on 12 hours, and then you take it off and rest 12 hours, and then you put it back on for 12 hours, 12 on, 12 off. It's just that simple. And these patches are designed to create cellular cells, those things that make us more youthful when we're younger, and they start wearing out as we get older. It helps to start waking up our cells again to act younger and to work better and to begin to rejuvenate and help our bodies to function like they did 10, 15, 20 years ago, which is an amazing technology. And some say, well, what do you mean phototherapy? Well, it's just like the sun hits your body, and it will trigger what? Vitamin D production, hormone production, and many other functions on the earth. Very important energy is infrared energy. Well, we're loaded with that infrared energy. I like to call it the life force energy of the universe. And when you reflect that back in, you're just harnessing the power of light energy that God used to create the universe and causes the sun to shine and everything else. And we have made it available to you through a simple patching system that will trigger your body's own natural cell production in the body for certain biological functions to help you to look better, feel better, live longer, live healthier, live well, add years to your life and life to your years. And we always encourage everyone to start with the X39 or your cellular activation patch. And this is the flagship product, but of course, we have many other patches to support your body also. But if you want more information about the patches and what different types of patches we have and how this technology can help you, get back with the person who basically invited you to this video. I always tell people they must love you a whole lot and must want you to live a long and healthy life, or else they wouldn't have gave you this technology, or access to the technology. So you get back to that person that shared this with you and let them tell you how you can get a hold of this technology, how you can begin to patch, how you can begin to start a new story of your life. And maybe you can come back and be with us on this patching podcast and share with you, like these folks did today, how it has changed your life. We appreciate you guys jumping on. And today, we love you. God bless you. And we hope to see you back again, maybe doing a testimony.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. Awesome.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye.